Let me show you how this project works. We have here a wireless alarm detection with transmitter board and the receiver board. When the sender side detects the motion, it can be the motion of a human being or the motion of any animal. When the sender or the sensor detects my motion like that, the sender is going to send the data, this information, to the receiver side, and the receiver side is going to trigger the alarm, and it is also going to turn on the red LED, and of course a message will be displayed like that: intruder detected. That's the project wireless alarm system. Now let me show you what we have on the sender side. I'm just going to zoom in. If I zoom in, we're gonna see that we have here the ESP8266 microcontroller and the HCCR501 PIR sensor. If you want to master your electronics project, go to the description of this video. You're gonna see an ebook for you just for $35. The motion sensor. On the receiver side, if I zoom in just a little bit, we have here the ESP8266 microcontroller, the node MCU, the red LED, the buzzer, and the LCD I2C display. Of course, for the red LED, I provided a 100 ohm resistor. Let's talk about the setup. How I set up the transmitter side. This motion sensor has 3 pins. The first one on my left side is the minus pin, the ground pin. The middle one is the signal pin, and the last one is the hey, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos. VCC. I attached the ground pin to the ground pin and the middle pin to the D0 pin, and the VCC to pin 3.34. That's the setup for my sender side. For the receiver side, I connected, as you can see here, let me show you clearly, on the LCD I2C display. The first pin here is the SCL. SCL is going to pin D1. D1 is the SCL pin by default, and SDA pin by default on this microcontroller is D2, and I attached the red LED through this 1K ohm resistor. We have here a 1K ohm resistor to the pin D3 through the anode of this red LED. Of course, the minus side cathode is going to the ground of this microcontroller through this cable. The buzzer, the plus side, is going to pin D4, and the minus pin is going to the ground. That's the setup for the receiver side. Let me show you secret diagram for this project. That's the diagram for this project. Time to show you the code. Let me explain the code. The transmitter code, we need to include these libraries. So that's the PIR sensor, which is connected to the pin D0. So we need the MAC address of the receiver for us to be able to send the data to the receiver. That's the MAC for the receiver board. We are going to use the type def structure so that we can get the state of the PIR sensor, the motion sensor. Here we are creating the message called my data. We call back this function here when we send the data to the receiver side. We call this function for us to be able to send the data wirelessly to the receiver side. We have here the serial begin for communication between our microcontroller and our machine. So here is the most important part inside of void loop function. The motion sensor holds two values, only 0 and 1. That's why we are using the digital read function. We give the value from the digital read function to the my data state variable, and then we send it to the receiver. That's the sender code, and then I'm going to the receiver code. On the receiver code, we need to install this library. For these libraries, we don't need to install because they come when we set up the ESP8266 board on the Arduino ID. That's the red LED, and that's the buzzer. That's the configuration for our LCD display. We have here the type def structure, and we have here the message function to display messages only when content changes. So that's the callback function when the data is received. When we receive the signal, that data coming from the sender code, we're gonna print it on the serial monitor, and then we're going to turn on the LED and the buzzer, and then we are going to display the message intruder detect. If no data is sent, so we're gonna print no intruder. The LED is an output as well as the buzzer. That's for communication between our board and our machine, the laptops. We have here the configuration for our LCD display. We call it the receiver function, and we leave empty the void loop. Okay, so you can really send your code to your boards, and God bless you. Now we can test again the project. Let me just reconnect the cable. Okay, and we're gonna test it again. That's a wireless communication. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon for more videos and shorts.